I give you four concerns. Tell me which one is at the top of the list. Left field, first base, Osuna's velocity, or Aaron's blister.
I know people are really wound up about left field, first base. I don't think it's going to be the problem that people believe it is. It's something that's going to be resolvable.
So you said left field and first base, not the problem that some people see. So it plays out how? Where are we with this? Who's getting the playing time?
Well, in left field, it'd be I would think at this point going to be a lot of Steve Pearce, Ezekiel Carrera, with perhaps some Melvin Upton mixed in. First base, Justin Smoak with Steve Pearce and the occasional Kendrys Morales sighting. And look, the Blue Jays are going to give Justin Smoak a shot at this. And, they don't want him to be looking over his shoulder. They just want him to do his thing, provide some great defense. And if he hits the way that he did in 2015, this resolves itself. And if it doesn't, then the Blue Jays are going to have to adjust. And look, the trade market this year should be a little bit easier to navigate because teams can't hold on to players thinking, hey, there's a qualifying offer in the future. Teams are going to have to unload. And so, I'd expect it to be a bit more active. And some of the things that the Blue Jays worked on from a trade perspective during the offseason that didn't come to fruition, they could come into play again come July. So, the other thing to keep in mind is that, people get fixated like at first base, you need a masher. That's true. You do need production at a first base. But teams are more these days, rather than looking at positional contributions, they're looking at what the lineup's doing as a whole. And, if you look at this lineup as a whole, yeah, they've got a couple softer spots in it, but they're still going to have an ample amount of production if everybody does what they're supposed to.
All right, but you mentioned Justin Smoak, and you said, well, if he hits like he did last year, this is not a shot. This is just a fact. Last year looked like every other year, right? Justin Smoak, and he's not 19, he's not 20, he's not 21 years old. Every year looks pretty much the same, and that being the case, I can pretty much, if he's going to do what he normally does, you can pretty much predict his stats.
Well, there have been some good years. If 2013 was a good season for him, 2015 was a good season for him, and last year he had a good first half before tailing off very badly in the second half. So you're right that he's not young. At the same time, he's always been a guy who's had a lot of ability, and that if he can work on a couple of issues with his swing and with pitch identification and things like that, then maybe he develops. And you do on occasion get some guys who develop in their 20s, but the Blue Jays see something in him. That's why they gave him the contract extension they did last summer when they really didn't have any pressure to, because from the analytics perspective, they have some faith in him, and we're going to see whether or not that bears out and whether he rewards that faith.
I'm where you are with Smoak, probably with Melvin Upton. I am hoping, Shi, it's the guy that started last year with the Padres. It's a more spacious ballpark. It's NL West pitching, but he had 16 homers and 20 steals and had an OPS of 7 in the 740s when the Jays acquired him. And I know it didn't go well, but you and I and Elliot, and we've all seen many guys just not assimilate into a new club when they come somewhere in July. And Ricky Henderson wasn't good here when they got him until the playoffs. I'm hoping that's the case with a 31-year-old Melvin Upton.
It's possible that if the Blue Jays feel that they need to keep Ryan Goins over him, that they make a move with him. So it's a really interesting decision that they have there with their final position player right now. Upton last night had a very nice game. He hit the home run, made a nice defensive catch. He showed you the flashes of the raw ability that made him such a high draft pick and such an elite player. The problem has always been for him is finding consistency. And then with the Blue Jays, the challenge will be, if he's going to primarily get at bats against left-handed pitchers, how is he going to handle that sporadic playing time? And, with the Padres, he was playing every day. When he came here, he wasn't. And maybe that was part of the difficulty in the transition. But, the Blue Jays will have some rope there. It's not a lot of rope, but, Steve Pearce is the guy they'd ideally want getting the bulk of the reps in left field, and Justin Smoak hitting will have to be a part of that. So it's an interesting mix right now in terms of how it's all going to play out.